All right, it is almost 4 o'clock now. I have an agenda here that I'm going to go by because we have a lot to talk about. And I just want to give you guys kind of an update on what we've been doing, what we've accomplished, how busy we've been over the last week, especially, and what we need to do moving forward. Because I don't know exactly how many days it is until the primaries, but we are getting close. And once we get through the primaries, it's going to be very fast paced, and we're going to need a lot of help on this campaign. And so we're going to talk about that today. Talk about how you can help the campaign and move us forward and flip this district blue together. It is 4 o'clock now, so I think we could probably go ahead and start on the agenda. Let me check here, make sure we've got everything set. Good to go. Oh, hello. You're probably going to see a lot of that with me today. Okay, here we go. So, first of all, welcome everyone to our very first campaign live stream. I'm happy to have you here and hope that we can reschedule our picnic for very soon. I know it's supposed to storm, it's supposed to be pretty nasty over the next few days. So, we'll just look at the next sunny day and we will let you guys know when that's going to be. We'll do pizza and donuts and just kind of hang out, get to know each other, and hopefully sign up some new volunteers. And we're going to talk about that today too. So I want to start out this stream with some good news and talk about our accomplishments, what we have been doing over the last few months, over the last week. This campaign has been going for 5 months now. We are just past the 5 month mark. And I tell people it simultaneously feels like it's moving so fast and so slow. Sometimes I feel like things that happened yesterday happened 5 months ago, and things that happened 5 months ago happened yesterday. So it's really weird. Time is strange these days. And I don't really spend too much thinking about yesterday, and I don't spend too much time thinking about tomorrow. Really, I am thinking about right now, the here and now, and what we can do every single day to move the needle forward and flip this district. So let's see, we have held events in almost every single county. We are gearing up for more events and canvassing in rural areas. We have been to every county so far, except for we haven't spent a lot of time in Hancock, but we are actually going to be out in Hancock soon, and we're actually planning some events there as well. I think we have a forum coming up in July that we will announce soon with the other candidates. And our goal really over the last several months has been to make a name for ourselves, make sure people know what we're doing, who we are, what we stand for, and to really energize the people who feel most disengaged from the system, from their politics, and remind them that there are people fighting for them, that they have power, that they can actually make a difference. And we have been successfully doing that. We have met a lot of people who maybe have never voted before, who say that they finally have a reason to register to vote and to participate. So that's a really good sign. We have people who said that they gave up on their system and they finally have hope for the first time in a really long time. So that's really important too, and really fires me up. But moving forward, especially after the primaries, our next initiative is to make sure that we get outside of the Tri-Cities area. So I think we've done a really good job making a name for ourselves in Tri-Cities. We've been out knocking on some doors, and I'll tell you, I'll knock on doors, and half the doors I knock on, people already know about the campaign. They already support the campaign. And so that is a really good sign that the word is getting out there. And so our next goal is to go out into the more rural areas, the areas that politicians often abandon and just forget because they don't feel like it's worth their time. And that's been a really big talking point that I've heard from people lately. They're like, are you going to get out to Sevierville? Are you going to get out to Johnson County? Are you going to Cott County? And yes, absolutely. We have made our stops there, but we really want to start focusing on those areas more because we believe that, these areas that have been forgotten and abandoned, they deserve a voice. They deserve representation. They deserve to be heard and feel like there's someone actually fighting for them, listening to them. And Diana's not listening to anyone. but Trump and our corporate donors. And so we want to remind them that there are real people that actually are fighting for them. And so that's our next step is to kind of move into those areas to do more door knocking in rural areas. And I'm going to talk about that in a little bit, and hold events out there and just really make our presence known all over the district, all the way from Johnson County to Sevierville. And another thing I wanted to say was that we don't, even though we are going to be focusing on, flipping MAGA voters, getting independents on our side, which is kind of happening organically, it's happening on its own already. We don't have to flip as many MAGA voters as people think we do. Something that I like to remind people when I'm out and about is that we are not as red as it may seem. We are the second reddest district in the nation, maybe the third at this point. I'm not sure. I'd have to look at the numbers. But a year ago, we were the second reddest district in the nation. And, people hear that, they see that, and they think, okay, well, everyone around me is MAGA. Half the population or more, 70%, 80%, they're all MAGA. And that's not true. We have some of the lowest voter turnout in the nation. Tennessee has exceptionally low voter turnout, and our area does too. And that is because people do not feel as though they have anybody to vote for. They don't have anybody fighting for them. And so they don't show up because they don't feel empowered. And they don't show up because they are hardcore MAGA. They don't show up because they don't believe in either side. And so what we're trying to do is kind of bridge that gap and make those relationships with people who just feel as though the system has abandoned them. And the thing about MAGA is that it's draining support every single day. Diana is actively hiding from her constituents. She doesn't hold mobile offices. She's not listening to her district. And it's going to be really hard to win an election and to get people to show up to vote for Diana Harshbarger when Trump isn't even on the ballot. When she hides and she doesn't do anything and she continues to be a rubber stamp for Trump and vote for things that are wildly unpopular, even with her own voting base. So they're kind of draining the support on their own. And what we have to do is let them keep purging support while we gain momentum, while we provide something better, a better future. We work to build something better. And, we're not running on, we're not MAGA. We're running on a better future. We're running on universal health care for every single person, which 70% of Americans support. And especially in East Tennessee, we all know that the healthcare system is broken. We are running on making sure that every child, every person has equal access to quality, fully funded education. Teachers are well paid. The classrooms have what they need, especially in East Tennessee and rural East Tennessee. We don't have these, all these private schools to pump money into with this voucher scam. And so what's happening is they're taking money out of the schools here in East Tennessee, and they're moving that funding over to these vouchers for wealthy families to send their kids to private school. And we are actively watching the dismantling of our education here in East Tennessee. We are seeing schools close in Carter County. They are losing one of their elementary schools, and that is due to a lack of funding. And the lack of funding is due to the voucher scam. And so when the state does not work to protect its people, then it's time for the federal government to step up and to do that. And so that's what we're running on: healthcare, education, and then also a fair tax system, making sure that the working class is not carrying the burden of the corporations and the billionaires who are not paying their fair share, and not contributing, but actively harming the people, exploiting workers, and just buying off our government to maintain corporate power, and among a lot of other things that we need to fix in our country. We need kind of a complete system overhaul, but those are our top 3 priorities. And let me tell you, those top 3 priorities are very, very popular among people all across the political divide. It is rare that I find someone out. Well, I don't know. I can't really think of a time that I found someone out that I've been having a conversation with that doesn't agree that our healthcare system is broken and doesn't want something better. who don't like the vouchers and want to make sure that all of our schools are funded, and also that aren't happy with the billionaires and the corporations that are just kind of hollowing out our towns and exploiting our workers. So these things are very popular talking points. They're basic common sense human values. And I think that by continuing to run on them, to work on building our platform and our policies to reflect that vision that we have, I think that is going to just naturally pull people into our movement, because that is what the majority of people want. Now, we have raised quite a bit of money, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later. But we have raised around $80,000, maybe a little more. I'd have to look at the numbers, but that's huge. That's huge for a progressive grassroots campaign in East Tennessee. I think that we have done a phenomenal job gaining support and getting donations, but at the same time, we are up against a multi-million-dollar MAGA machine. And the moment we get through the primaries, that money is going to start pouring out from that MAGA machine. And it is going to do everything in its power to keep someone like me from getting into office. And that's because someone like me threatens the status quo, threatens corporate power, and they don't like that. They're scared of that. And so, especially seeing our wins in New York, and really all over the country, we're seeing progressives rise and gain momentum and support and winning primaries. So there's definitely a shift going on right now that I think we have to seize and really run with. And so I'm going to talk about funding in just a little bit. But we've had some really big wins lately. Our campaign was recently endorsed by State Representative Gloria Johnson, which is very exciting for me because I really look up to Gloria. I just think she is such a fighter for the people, and she has done so much good for our state. So it's really cool to have her on our side and in our corner. It legitimizes what we're doing. And we're really excited to work with Gloria more to energize the voting base, to expand our reach, and to get the vote out at the general election, which I really think she's going to help us do. So that's really exciting. We've also been endorsed by Indivisible Tennessee, which is also very exciting for me because I love Indivisible. I love what it does to bring people into political activism that may have never been interested in involving themselves in the system. Maybe they just voted, but that's pretty much all they did. And so Indivisible gives us the opportunity to introduce people to politics in a way that is palatable and accessible and gives everyone an opportunity to participate no matter what they like to do, what they're willing to do, or what they are comfortable doing. And so we received that endorsement yesterday, and that was along with Jerry Green as well, which is very exciting. She was in the area yesterday. I know a lot of you went to her events and saw her, and her campaign is gaining a lot of momentum. People are finally starting to see just how much progress we could see in this state with a governor who is more interested in the well-being of the people, the needs of Tennesseans, rather than just being a rubber stamp for the president, which is not something we want in a governor. And that's exactly what you're going to get in Marsha Blackburn. So if you are a supporter of mine, but you have not heard of Jerry Green or started following her, I strongly encourage you to follow her, to check out her website, see what she's up to, and familiarize yourself with her platform, because I think it is a winning platform. And if more people get involved, I think that we actually have a very good chance of flipping the state blue as well as this district. I need some water. Let's see. I'll check the comments and see what people are saying before we move on. Everybody's really excited about the endorsements. Yes, I am very excited, and I think that the endorsements are going to keep coming. I really do. We have applied for a lot of endorsements, if you were wondering, quite a few actually. My team has been working really hard to make sure we get the word out to anyone and everyone and really make the ask. So I think we're going to see that a lot more, especially after the primaries. And I will say that I have heard that a lot of these organizations, especially the bigger ones, they don't really want to endorse during the primary. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. It's just a personal decision or their decision. And a lot of them don't really want to endorse until you hit a certain fundraising threshold. They want to see that you've raised $100,000, $200,000 before they're willing to endorse you. And so that's kind of a roadblock, I think, with getting more endorsements, is we really need more funding to legitimize our campaign. And with us being in such a red district, a lot of organizations and donors really don't care about what we're doing here, because they think it's so safe and that we really have no chance of flipping it, and so why bother? But those of us who are here in East Tennessee, who are in it, boots on the ground, talking to people every day, we know that things are shifting here in a major way. And I see it every day. My supporters see it every day. I have people coming up to me all the time saying they see our signs everywhere. They see our pins and our buttons, our t-shirts everywhere they go, in the grocery store and at brunch. And it's really cool, because it's become this sign of allyship. We're on your side, we see you, and we're everywhere. So it's a great way for us to connect and to remind everyone around us that there is a lot more of us than we realize, and that we're just quiet. We're not non-existent. Democrats are very prevalent in this area. Even Democratic-leaning independents are very prevalent in this area. We just tend to be quiet about that, but not anymore. It's my job to keep you loud and unapologetic about where we stand, so we can normalize it and make sure that we grow this movement as much as possible and bring everybody out from their slumber. So let's see, aside from our endorsements lately, our team held our second comedy night to support the Pride Community Center, who lost their physical location recently. And that means that our LGBTQ plus neighbors have one less safe space to gather. And I don't like that. And I think a lot of us feel feel something strong about that, because we already know that we exist in an environment that is not friendly to our gay friends, our trans friends, and there have been more anti-LGBTQ plus there's been legislation, anti-LGBTQ plus legislation being pushed all over the country, especially in Tennessee. Some are failing, some are passing, but they are actively trying to make an entire community of people disappear, a community of people that have been around forever. This is not new. And they want us to think that if we abandon this community, that we will win. All we have to do is just stop talking about gay rights, stop talking about trans rights. And that's going to help us. But I actually think that will hurt us, because abandoning marginalized communities is not how you represent. And I don't think it's how you're going to win an election this time around. I think we need to lift everyone up, no matter who they are, no matter their sexual orientation, their race, their religion. We're trying to build a movement that is inclusive to all people and gives everyone a chance to thrive and succeed. And so I want to remind all communities that have felt marginalized, abandoned by the system, that we are fighting for them just as much as we are fighting for everyone else. And it's really important that we maintain those connections and we remind them just how much we're fighting for them. And so learning that the Pride Community Center lost their physical location, we decided as a campaign that we were going to do whatever we could using our platform to help them. And so the past two comedy night events that we held were at the Blue Ridge Comedy Club in Bristol. We had a wonderful time. We spent all night laughing, and the proceeds from those two events went directly to the Pride Community Center in hopes that they can maybe work on getting a new physical location, and they actually have a safe space to gather. And so my communications director, Dustin, is going to put a link to the Pride Community Center in the comments. That way you can go check them out, make sure you follow them, pay attention to what they're doing, and donate if you can so that you can help them get their space too, because we all have to work together to make these things possible. Speaking of Pride, we were at Rainbow Fest yesterday, which was really great. That was a great event. It was packed, and unfortunately it did get rained out. We were also at Jefferson Pride, Jefferson County Pride. We had a table set up there. I was not there, but my team was, and they got rained out as well. Um, but we were able to talk to a lot of disengaged people, a lot of new voters. We managed to get a few people to register to vote, and overall just had really good conversations. And good conversations and also kind of heartbreaking conversations. I talked to a lot of people who told me that they just feel afraid, that they love it here. They love Tennessee. They love Appalachia. This is their home. Maybe they moved here because they love it, or they were raised here and they've been here their whole lives. And now they're actually thinking about moving. They're thinking about leaving the place that they love. And I don't think that anybody should have to leave where they love simply because of hate and cruelty. I think we have to normalize compassion and equality, equity, empathy, and love for our neighbors so that we can kind of stamp out that cruelty and make people feel safe and welcome again in their own home. And so that is what I'm going to work to do. And, it was really inspiring when the event got rained out and it poured and they got drenched and they were all having to pack up in the rain. It was really unfortunate. But when I came out to talk to those at the Pride Center and just, I let them know, I'm so sorry it got rained out. They had such a great attitude and they were just so happy to have had the event, happy that they were able to still put it on and have a space to gather. And they just had such a positive outlook about all of this. And it really heartened me that this community that has been so beat down and so victimized and so harmed by the administration and by the people around them still maintains such a positive outlook, a joyful attitude. And that is resilience. And resilience is what builds the resistance. And so that really heartened me to see. And so we're going to keep fighting for our LGBTQ plus community. And I don't care what the bots and the trolls have to say about that because it's not up to them. It's up to the people of this district. And I think the people of this district have decided that all people deserve equal rights and an equal system and a chance to thrive. So let's see. Just looking at my agenda here. Also, coalitions. We have started a lot of coalitions lately. We launched Christians for Christy. We had a postcard writing event this past week, which was really great. We had quite a few people show up. I think we probably had about 15 or 20 people show up, and we wrote postcards to the local churches and let them know that we are a movement that is really focused on probably the same values that they preach at the pulpit, values about loving your neighbor, making sure everybody has health care and their basic needs met, and that we have an equal system. And so we're hoping that, we can reach people of faith that might feel a certain way due to propaganda or media or whatever they've heard about Democrats and let them know that we're not scary, that we're not coming after them, that what we really want is a fair system where we all get to work together and people of faith can practice their faith openly and feel safe and secure doing so, no matter what their faith is or what their faith isn't. So yeah, that was a really great event and I'm really excited to do more with that. And I'm seeing a lot of Christian support for this campaign, people who have real human values and their faith reflects that, and this movement reflects their faith. So that's really exciting. Some of my biggest donors, supporters, volunteers, and even those on my leadership team are people of faith. And the reason that they support this campaign is because of their faith. And so I'm really excited about that. We've got some new coalitions started up. We just launched Healthcare Workers for Christy, which I'm also very excited about, especially since healthcare is my top priority. I believe that public health is pretty much at the center of the majority, if not all, of our problems. And if we could fix that, then we could fix a lot of other things. Economic mobility, crime rates. There are just so many things that we could alleviate if we made sure that every single person had healthcare. So very excited about that. Make sure you join our coalitions. We have so many. We have Veterans for Christy, Republicans for Christy, Christians for Christy, healthcare workers for Christy, educators for Christy. There is a coalition for almost anyone. And if you don't have, there's not one for you to join, maybe you start one. Maybe you like playing video games and you want to start Nerds for Christy. I'm cool with that. I think that'd be fun. And we're actually hoping to do some video game nights sometime soon. So, just think outside the box. If you've got a group of friends that, gets together and talks about a certain subject and you want to start a coalition for that, let us know. You can go to the website, votechristyburke.com, contact us there, or email info@votechristyburke.com. And let us know that you want to start a coalition, and we will make that happen. That's what it's going to take to win this, is building relationships, building coalitions, making sure that we're connecting with our neighbors and connecting with people from all backgrounds, all lifestyles, all hobbies and careers, because our movement is very inclusive, and we want anyone and everyone involved that wants a better future and doesn't like what they're seeing right now in our government. And we actually have an upcoming virtual roundtable on July 7th. This roundtable will be moderated by Robin Cleary. She's running for Democratic Executive Committee in District 4. And we're going to be talking with education professionals about their schools, like what their schools need, what their students need, and really try to bring what we're learning from local educators into our platform and eventually into Congress. And so we definitely encourage you to sign up for that. If you are an educator and you want to be involved, we really want to hear from you. So make sure you join our coalition. The registration is free, but space is limited. So just make sure you sign up beforehand so that you know you have a secured spot. We'll have a link in the comments for you to sign up for that. Also, I want to let you know that you have a lot of local Democrats that you can support, especially in the Tri-Cities area. In Washington County, they worked really hard to get Democrats on the ballot, and we have a lot of them. Change starts locally. It starts right where we are. And so we can't just focus on the big races, as fun as they are, as much attention as they get. We really have to put our attention and our energy into smaller races too, into local races, make sure that we're paying attention to school board and county commission and state representatives. We have to overhaul the system from the bottom all the way up to the top. There is not just one way to fix the situation that we are in. We need a complete overhaul because it is rotten all the way down to its core. It really is, because a lot of people have disengaged from their democratic system. And when you disengage, it allows people with really bad intentions to get away with a lot. And we're seeing that across the board. We're seeing that in our local school board with Keith Irvin, who hit on a 17-year-old girl on video in front of everyone, and still won't resign, refuses to resign. And the Republican Party doesn't seem like they really care too much. And it kind of seems like they would rather have a predator on their school board than a Democrat. And we're seeing that up at the top too. We're seeing that at the federal level, that people would rather have predators in the White House than Democrats, predators in Congress, predator protectors in Congress than Democrats. And that's kind of a problem. That's a big problem. So we really need to make sure that we're paying attention to our local races. Make sure you look up your sample ballots, look at your local Democratic Party and who's on the ballot. Pay attention to your candidates, scrutinize them. Don't vote for someone just because they're a Democrat. Vote for someone because you pay attention to them, you listen to them, you check out their values, look at their history, ask them questions, reach out to them, send them an email and say, where do you stand on this, this, and this? And see if they respond. See what kind of events they're holding and show up and press them. I encourage people to scrutinize me all the time. I would not be feeling very comfortable if I wasn't getting scrutinized, because that would mean that people weren't paying close attention. So definitely make sure that you look up your local candidates, pay close attention, scrutinize them, and choose the candidate that is going to best represent you and is actually going to work towards change and not just be a rubber stamp for a party or for a president, for a presidential agenda, but for the agenda of the people. You can check out my page for candidate spotlights. We've been spotlighting a lot of the local candidates that I believe in. Again, check out your local Democratic Party because they'll let you know who's running as well. The 4th of July is coming up, which is exciting. And I think that this is going to be a very important time to remember why this country exists, why it was founded, the values that it was founded on: life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness, and reclaiming our patriotism, reclaiming our flag and our red, white, and blue, and not abandoning our flag, abandoning our patriotism, but feeling energized in it and reclaiming it for what's good, what's right, what is for life and liberty and the pursuit of happiness. Our flag has been hijacked by a cult of cruelty, if I can be frank. I mean, really, it is a cult of cruelty. And they have hijacked our flag. And there is this faux patriotism where people think that they are patriotic, that they are true Americans because they like a flag, or because they say that they support our military, say they support veterans, but then they vote in politicians that actively harm our veterans, harm our military members, sending our men off to needless wars of choice to satisfy Trump's ego. And that's a problem. So what I want to do is I want to see the Democratic Party really reclaim our patriotism and to show what patriotism means, what it means to love your country. It's not about loving a flag. It is about loving your neighbor, and it is about making sure that they have their basic needs met, that they have everything that they need, and that the system works to benefit all of us, not just some. And so I think we've got some fun merch in the works. We've got some t-shirts coming out to really kind of reclaim that patriotism and reclaim our American spirit and show people that patriotism is more than just flag worship, that it's actually doing the work and enacting policies that help our neighbors. I've got my communications directors letting me know something, so give me just a second. What about, oh, okay, a comment. What about better government assistance for volunteer fire departments in the area for gear and training and equipment? I love that. I love that. See, these are the kind of things that we need to be doing. The federal government is supposed to be investing in our communities and making up for when our state, our local leaders aren't taking care of our people, of our systems that are in place, our infrastructure. And so I don't want the federal government to just be something that comes in to rescue you when everything goes bad, or is just there to pour money into, national defense and trying to get in everywhere and be the world police and world bully. What I want to see is our tax dollars and our government working to fund us and our communities and the things that we need, and incentivizing states and local governments to take care of their people above all. So I think that's a great idea. I love that. I love that. So let's see. Okay, so now I want to talk about the campaign and moving forward, because the whole point of today's meetup was for us to get to know one another, but also talk about how are we going to flip this district blue, because it is an uphill battle. It is a difficult thing to try to do, but it's not impossible, and I don't believe in saying never. And so when we're up against something difficult, we don't just say, oh, this is so hard, so why even try? We say, how do we overcome these obstacles? How do we get around these roadblocks that they're trying to put up to keep us from flipping blue, to keep us from taking back our power? And I truly believe that we can win this. I know a lot of people, they're excited about the movement. They think, oh, I'll vote, but I just don't see it happening. I hear that all the time. And I tell people that doubt often becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, that when you doubt, you kind of create the situation that you don't want to happen. And so I don't doubt. I just say, okay, well, we're going to move forward. How do we do it? And whatever roadblock comes up, then we take that roadblock in the moment. We figure out how to get over it as fast as possible together. And the more of us that work together, the easier it is to get over those roadblocks, to overcome those obstacles. And so I kind of wrote down some reasons why I believe that we can win this district. And then I'm going to give you some ways that you can help us win this district, because I cannot do this alone. My team cannot do this on our own. We need every single person that wants a better future involved in this campaign in some capacity. And there is a spot for anyone and everyone, no matter how busy you are, no matter how comfortable you are, stepping out there or getting involved. There is a way you can help us win. Even the smallest actions count and help us get there. So I wrote down some reasons why I believe that we can flip this district blue, and I'm going to go through them. So the first reason is because we are doing the work, and Diana is not doing the work, and everyone sees it. She has been hiding for the last year and a half. She's not holding town halls, and I'm telling you, she's not gonna hold a town hall because she's terrified of people being mad at her. She's scared of being yelled at because Miss Tennessee Tough can't handle a room full of people who don't agree with her. And so she's so scared to show up that she's not planning these events. She's not even holding mobile offices where her staff shows up to talk to constituents. And so if she can't even show up, if she's going to be in hiding for the next several months, it's going to be really hard to get support for her to keep her seat. And something that people have been telling me lately is that she's been sending out door knockers. So people are having people come to their door and knock, Democrats actually. And I've had several people say that they have come to their door multiple times. This is not typical of an incumbent in what is typically a very safe district who just knows that they've got it secure. What they're going to do is they're just going to print up a bunch of mailers, remind everyone to go vote, and then their voting base will show up and vote like they always do. But it's interesting that Diana is sending her little minions out to go knock on doors now because she's getting nervous and they know that they can't win by hiding. So they have to look like they're doing something. And I can tell you, I'm knocking on doors. Diana's not knocking on doors. She's sending some boy out there to go do it. And so that gives me a lot of hope. And it shows me that they're trying to do whatever work they can without putting themselves in a position to be confronted with their corruption and their cruelty and their lies. And I have heard some stories about these door knockers showing up at people's doors and getting an earful. So I can't imagine that's going very well for them. But I will say it's going very well for us. Our door knocking has been very successful so far. So the second reason that I think that we have the ability to win this is because a shift is happening nationwide. We've had big wins in New York. We've got progressives stepping up all over the country and winning their primaries. And my prediction is that everyone, well, this isn't a prediction, this is just the truth. Everyone is tired of the status quo. It's why we tend to see extremes win, because people are so tired of just this middle of the line, do nothing, Democrat, Republican, moderate, right? I think people like the idea of moderate in terms of everything staying balanced and people not fighting. But when we talk about moderate, what we really mean is moderate policy. So we're talking about like the stuff that empowers corporations while keeping us all kind of satisfied and quiet, right? Giving us just enough to keep us from going too radical either way. And people are tired of that because it gets nothing done at all. And so, oh, sorry, give me just a second. Okay. And so what I'm seeing is the MAGAs are, they're voting for their MAGAs, but the Republicans that are more moderate, they're not really getting through. And then the same goes for the Democrats. The corporate APAC Democrats, people are done with them. They want progressives. They want people talking about healthcare and education and how we're going to get it, and not trying to empower the corporations, empower APAC and their initiatives. And we're all sick of sending money to Israel, that's for sure. And so what we're going to see is this kind of face-off between the progressives and the MAGAs at election time. And I think the progressives are going to win out easily, no problem. Because right now, progressives are the ones that are talking about a better future. They're talking about the active steps that we can take to actually fix the system, to give people the things that they need, to fix our broken healthcare system, to fix our education, and to give us all a better way forward. Meanwhile, MAGA is just stuck on their obsession with genitals and bathrooms and gender. It's so weird. It's so weird and pointless, and it does not impact or affect any of us, except for it's harming a certain community by scapegoating them. And so while they're hung up on bathrooms and genitals, we're actually building a better future. And people see that on all sides and they want a better future. And so, you know what? They can just keep talking the way they're talking because they're actively draining support and we are actively moving forward. And that is the shift that we're seeing nationwide. And I don't think that's going to be limited just to places like New York. And I actually think the more rural areas are the ones that are going to rise up and actually show that they're getting sick of being beat down by the system too. So yeah, I think that shift is going to be seen all across the country. Also, our campaign is making politics very palatable. It is making politics, more exciting and accessible. We are not trying to do the normal thing where we just pour all of this money into a TV ad and try to trick people with, attack campaigns. What we really want to do is show people that the system only runs when we run it. It only runs well when we run it. And so we want to invite people in by holding events that aren't necessarily political, but are just community building. And that's what people are looking for right now. They're looking to get off of their algorithms, out into the real world, meet their community, meet their neighbors, and actually build something better with their neighbors and talk about the future that they want. And that is exactly what we're doing everywhere we go. We are having real conversations with our neighbors about what we want and about how we can achieve it. And we're seeing people register to vote every day. We are seeing new voters. We're seeing people flipping, saying, I voted Republican my whole life, but I really like what you're doing and I don't like Harshbarger, so I'm going to be voting for you. And what we're offering is what people want. And that's why we keep offering it, because we're getting so much support and gaining so much momentum from the things that we're saying, the things that we believe in our values. And so that is reflected in the conversations that we're having in events and on the streets when we're out knocking on doors. And so, if people are responding in such a way that, is actually moving the movement, then we're going to keep doing that. And Diana's not making politics palatable. She's not actively trying to get people involved in the system. In fact, she's using fear mongering to keep people disengaged because she knows when people show up to vote, they're going to vote progressive. They ain't voting for her. So she's not doing that. We are. And so I think that's another reason that we are going to be able to flip this district. And also, my last point is that there are way more of us than there are of them. People are waking up every single day. Doubt and apathy, I'm seeing that a lot less. It's still there, but a lot more people are feeling hopeful, feeling like they can actually do something, move the needle. We have volunteers that are so dedicated to this, that show up to host events and even do like speaking at events and having the hard conversations that have never been politically active before. People whose first entry into political activism is working on this campaign and they are going full force. So we're seeing that every single day, and that gives us a good kind of idea of what's happening around the country. I am one of those people, and I try to remind people all the time, I used to be disengaged. I have held very progressive ideas or beliefs for a very long time, but I never really felt empowered. And that's the problem. Most people hold these progressive ideas and values. They don't feel empowered to make the change. They don't think we can actually do it. So once I felt empowered and I started using my voice, that's when I started believing that we could actually accomplish the things that we want. And so it goes beyond just voting and actually participating. And we're seeing that every single day. Um, and 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 there's so many more of us than there are of them. And so if we just get together and we're empowered, then it really is as easy as us showing up to vote. And then once we vote, we have to continue participating in our system. But it's not as difficult as people want us to believe that it is. And they only want us to believe that it's difficult so that we don't try. So we just have to ignore the noise and keep pressing forward, ignore the apathy, which is just psychological warfare. I mean, this doomerism, defeatism, that is the opposition actively trying to make us disengaged, to make us feel powerless. And they wouldn't be using these tactics if they really thought that they had it in the bag, but they use these tactics so that we don't show up to vote. So we do the opposite of what they want and we show up to vote. Even if we don't feel like it will make a difference in our little areas, we still do it. And I always tell people watch A Bug's Life. Watch A Bug's Life, take notes, and then rewatch it because that movie is that's what I'm trying to sell right here. Is that there are so many more of us, so few of them, and we can easily overpower the system if we actually believe that we can. But believing in ourselves is the first step, and it is my job to keep you believing in this movement. Give me just a second. So somebody asked, do you believe that the Democrats are moving in the right direction by embracing communism? I don't believe that the Democrats are embracing communism. I think that that is part of the propaganda. I strongly encourage everybody to listen to Heather Cox Richardson on her latest talk on socialism, communism, and all of these things. I did listen to some of it. I didn't get to finish it, but she's a brilliant mind and she lays these things out really well. We are not seeing communism in the United States. We're not seeing anything close to communism, and democratic socialism is not communism. These two are they're very separate ideologies. And the thing is that a lot of people don't realize is that we actually do see socialism in our system already, and it works. We have libraries that are publicly funded. We have fire stations and police stations and disaster relief and all kinds of things that we all benefit from using our own tax dollars. And so we already see kind of bits of socialism under our system, and the goal is to not take everything and just completely eliminate the ability to grow and thrive and do your own thing and build your own business. The goal is to make sure that when people do that, they aren't able to exploit the system, use the system for so much gain that it harms everyone else. It keeps everyone else from being able to grow and thrive. So what we're trying to do is balance out the system, because right now we don't see a balance. Right now we see a wealth gap that is widening and has been widening since Trump's tax cuts in 2017, because he gave tax cuts to the wealthiest. And it didn't trickle down. They just hoarded the wealth, and money is a resource. It needs to circulate through our system in order for us to actually thrive and grow and have an equal opportunity for all people. And so that's the goal with democratic socialism, progressivism. It is not to just like eliminate, private property and just like have the government own everything. It's so that we can balance things out, because capitalism on its own, without the regulation, without the socialism within, it is just widening that wealth gap, widening the gap between those at the top and those in the middle, those at the bottom. And so what we want to do is take this and go like this. And we can do that. We can do that by making sure that everybody has their basic needs met. Because a lot of people, there are brilliant people, there are people who have all of the best ideas, all of the power and ability to make those ideas come to life, but they are being held back by things that are out of their control, and things that are out of their control because someone else is controlling their ability to control it. So we have people at the top that are actively buying our government out so that they can squash the little man, squash the competition, and keep corporate power, keep control, and keep hoarding wealth. That's what we don't want. We want everyone to have equal opportunities, not just those who are already rich, those who are born rich, those who are born in the right place at the right time, born the right race according to our current regime. We want everyone, no matter who they are, to have equal opportunity. And so, no, I don't think that anybody is embracing communism. I'm not seeing that in Democrats at all. I see many Democrats embracing progressive policies and embracing democratic socialism, which sounds scary when you listen to the propaganda, but really it's just about making sure all of our basic needs are met. And I think that Democrats embracing that is actually what's going to move the needle, what's going to change things. Because if we stay in the middle and stay in the status quo, we're only going to empower the other side. So that's what we're trying to avoid. So I have gone over, let's see. I've gone over why I think we can win, but now I want to kind of give a list of ways that you can help us win, because people are always asking, how do we help? What do we do? How can I, help you win? And most people think that it's just, oh, well, you got to vote, or you just donate, or you just volunteer. But there are so many other ways to help move this campaign and to make sure that we have the votes that we need this November. So I'm going to kind of list out some of those ways that you can help. And I am encouraging you right now. Um, I'm encouraging you to listen to this list and to pick one thing. You can pick more than one, but I'm asking you to pick one thing that I list here to commit to doing. And write yourself a note, maybe put a deadline for yourself, and really make it a priority in your life, if this is important to you, to just do one thing on this list. And then you can work through the list. But starting with one, I think is a fair ask. I hope that you agree. So the first and foremost, you have to vote. Okay. You got to vote. So that might be the one thing that you do. Okay. But you really have to make sure not only that you vote, but that you're registered to vote. There's a lot of weird things going on with registration. You want to make sure that nothing weird happened with yours. The last day to register to vote for the primaries is July 7th. That is coming up very, very fast. I know life is busy. It's crazy. So I'm asking you before the end of the day to go to vote.org, check your voter registration, and make sure that you were registered to vote and you were ready to vote when it comes time to do so. July 17th is when early voting starts. So make sure you're ready and you have a plan. August 6th are the primaries. Make sure you vote in the primaries. A lot of people really support this campaign, and maybe they think, oh, well, Christy's got the primary. She'll be fine. We'll get through. No, we need your vote in the primaries. And even if we have overwhelming support, even if we are in the lead, for the primary win, we need to show just how many Democrats are fired up and ready to vote before midterms. They need to know how many of us there are, and not just to show the opposition that we're here and we're gearing up to flip things, but also to show everyone else that there are people that will vote. If we see a higher Democratic voter turnout in the primaries than we did in previous elections, then that's something we can tell our neighbors who are feeling hopeless or feeling apathetic, or the people who on Reddit who are like, everybody in the state, they're just going to vote, for their own interests, or they're going to vote Republican no matter what, or they're not going to vote because they don't care. We're going to show those people that there are people fired up. There are people getting ready to vote. And that might inspire and encourage them to finally get involved and to do something and to show up on election day. So it helps cure apathy when we see that other people are rising up, and we need the numbers to support that. So I'm asking you to please make sure you are ready. You have a plan to vote in the primaries on August 6th and show everyone in this district and everyone in the nation that the people of East Tennessee are fed up and they're ready for change. And that we have just a few months to make that change. Let's really make the opposition nervous. Let's make them scared, and let's make them spend a lot of money. Really, let's make them spend out, because that's what they're going to do. They're going to pour money in these campaigns, and the more afraid they are, the more money they spend. I don't even think we're going to need polls to tell us how scared they are. We're just going to have to look at how much money is being poured into ads and attacks and all of these things that they do to try to win, to trick you into to voting for them. That is going to show us a lot. So definitely, please make sure that you are registered to vote and that you show up to vote. November 3rd is the election, so just make sure you have a plan. And if you don't have a ride, if you don't have a plan, maybe reach out to a friend, reach out to the local Dem party, reach out to us, and find someone that can help you make that plan and get to the polls. We will make sure that everyone who is struggling with that, struggling to get a ride, that we can, work with you to make sure that you have what you need and you're ready to vote. That is very important to our campaign, and I know it's important to the local Democratic parties as well. The second thing you can do is get your friends to vote. Get them registered to vote. Make a plan. Host a party. Invite your, throat. Invite your friends over to have dinner and talk about why you think it's important to vote. Make sure they get registered right then and there. It doesn't take very long. Vote.org, you can register to vote very, very quickly, just a few minutes, and complete that process with them and make sure that they also have a plan to vote. Maybe you go together to vote, talking to your family members who might feel disengaged. That is very helpful to this campaign. A third thing that you can do is to have productive conversations with your friends and family members, not arguments, but just being curious and asking them questions and talking about your shared values. We are so divided right now because we don't know how to have conversations with people we disagree with. And that's for a lot of reasons. And we're seeing an intentional attack on us to keep us from doing that, to keep us from having these conversations. And so we have to do the opposite of what they want and actually have productive conversations. And that's hard to do. And maybe that's not for you, but if you feel like you could kind of press it a little further, maybe you could talk to someone who's disengaged, talk to someone who maybe did vote for Trump but is not really feeling great about things, and just ask them about what they want, what they believe in, what are their values, and try to find some common ground and talk to them about the candidates that are running that honor those shared values that you likely have. You might not agree on how to get there, how to achieve those goals and to honor those values, but you probably will agree with the values. So that's a good first step. So having productive conversations, that sparks something, and it's how I started. Just having good conversations. So definitely make sure that you're having those conversations. The fourth thing that you can do is make sure you follow us on all socials. Comment, interact, share our posts, tag us everywhere. Tag us, tag us on Midas Touch or on Majority Report or anywhere that people are having conversations about midterms and about candidates and progressives. Tag us, email email Midas Touch, email these places and say, hey, have you heard about Christy Burke? Let them know. We need to make some noise about this campaign and let everybody know what's going on. So being engaged with our socials, we have a link tree. You can check that. I'm sure they'll put that in the comments. And you can go check out, we have a YouTube, a Threads account, Instagram, TikTok, Substack. We are everywhere. And so following us on socials and making sure that you are engaging and boosting us in the algorithm helps us spend less money on ads, which we really don't spend a lot of money on ads at this time, very little actually, but it keeps us from having to boost our posts and spend money on meta ads when we'd rather be spending money getting out in the district. And so that is a great way that you can help us by being very active and engaged with all of our posts, leaving a comment, liking, sharing, tagging your friends, and inviting your friends to our page. That would be really helpful. If everyone, when you get off this stream, could go to our page and invite your friends, there's a little button on the front of our page, invite, I think it is, and just go down your line and invite all your friends to like our page. That would be really, really, really helpful. And also, on that same note, make a video or a post about why you support our campaign. That would be great. If you could just say, hey, I'm supporting Christy for Congress, and here's why. Tag us, maybe put our website in the comments, link our volunteer form, and let people know that you are supporting this campaign, and this is why, because we share your same values, because we're building something better, because Harshbarger isn't listening to us or representing us. And so that would be a great way to help if you could just make a little post or even a video telling people why you support us. Another one is you could order a yard sign. Our yard signs are flying out like crazy. We have probably about 1,000 yard signs out right now. We ordered 750 up front and went through those, ordered another 300. Those are going very fast. We're about to have to put in another order. They are very expensive. Well, I wouldn't say the signs themselves are very expensive, but ordering a lot is very expensive. And so we have a lot of people who, when they get a yard sign, they donate $10 to help cover the cost. But we are not asking anyone to give us money or to donate for a yard sign. We just want to make sure that those yard signs are everywhere, as much recognition of our campaign as possible. And so if you can't put up a yard sign, maybe HOA or you're an apartment complex and that's not something you're able to do, donating $10 to help cover a yard sign would actually be really, really helpful to the campaign. So if you could donate $10 and help put up a yard sign, that would be really, really great. You can join a coalition. We have so many, like I talked about earlier, LGBTQ+, Veterans for Christy, Republicans for Christy, educators, Christians, healthcare professionals. I might be missing one, but we have lots of coalitions that are forming, and you can form your own. It doesn't take anything but just contacting us and saying, hey, I am a part of this group and we really want a coalition with Christy. And so how do we do that? And we will help set that up for you. And you can have meetings, you can have parties, you can host events. That would be really great. And so just thinking of ways that you can connect the people in your circle to our campaign would be really helpful, because it's all about relationship building and coalition building to make this successful. Buy merch and wear it. We've got buttons and shirts. You can, wear your button to brunch, wear your shirt to the grocery store. I have people all the time telling me, hey, I saw somebody wearing your t-shirt, when I went out to lunch, or I saw somebody wearing your button when I was at the philosopher's house. And so people are seeing it everywhere. And we need that. We need people to see Christy for Congress and ask, what is that? What's going on? What's happening? And look us up. Sparking curiosity has been kind of my biggest tactic in my growth, my own personal growth on my YouTube channel, and with this campaign. I'm really trying to make people look at what we're doing and go, what's going on? Because that curiosity and that interest will spark them to go look us up and to learn more about what we're doing, and it will help kind of spread that support. You can host an event or a house party for us. If you want to do like a fundraiser, that would be really, really great. I would love to drop by and meet your friends, meet those in your circle. So if you want to host an event or a house party to kind of drum up support and also get some funding for the campaign, you can email us at info@votechristyburg.com. You can also sign up to volunteer, which would be really, really helpful. We need all hands on deck, especially for door knocking. Guys, we've got a big district, okay? We have, we are all the way from Johnson County to Sevierville. And that's a lot of land. It's a lot of rural areas. So we need to knock on as many doors as possible. And we really don't have a lot of people signed up to door knock. If you were feeling a little hesitant about that, I just want to kind of clear up some misconceptions. One of those is you don't have to go alone. You can go with a friend. Another one is that you won't be just knocking on random doors. We use Vote Builder, which is what most campaigns use, to kind of look through the database of people who vote, registered voters and what they're registered as, if they voted in primaries or if they didn't, to kind of pick through and find people who are registered Democrats but are kind of disengaged from the system and maybe didn't vote in the last couple of elections. Maybe they just don't participate anymore. And so, getting those people is really important. And so we're finding those people and we're sending you to those doors. We're not just sending you to a random neighborhood and putting you in front of people that might be really hateful or be MAGA. Of course, there's always the possibility you'll walk up to the door and somebody won't be nice, but we have yet to have that happen. And hearing from all of the other people who are door knocking for other candidates, they're not really seeing that either. We're actually seeing a lot of excitement and support, and most people are really excited that the campaign bothered to show up and talk to them. So it's not as scary as you think it would be. And we can give you all the training and all of the support that you need. We can pair you with a friend. You can come door knock with me sometimes too. I'm always looking for people to door knock with. So, it's really not that scary. And if you want to kind of get your feet wet with that, we would really love to have you do that, because something that I learned is that door knocking actually increases the likelihood that someone will vote for you by 10 times. 10 times. That's huge. So if you can knock on a door and increase the likelihood of that vote by 10 times, I think most of us would want to do that. So please sign up to door knock. We have to knock on as many doors as possible. We are trying to knock on about 4,000 doors the next month. And I don't know if that's going to be easy. I'm not going to say possible. I don't know if it's going to be easy, but if we get enough people signed up to do it, we can make it happen. So even if you can spend one day and you knock on 10 doors, that is helpful. So please sign up to volunteer. We also need people on communications. We need people on events, tabling anywhere and everywhere. If you want to table at an event that we don't plan to be at, contact us. Let us know. We will give you a tabling kit and you can set up and you can let everybody know about our campaign. So there are lots of ways that you can get involved as a volunteer, whether you have 1 hour a week or a month, 1 hour a month or 10 hours a week, whatever it is, we got you. And then the last way you can help us And I don't mean to put this at the end because it's probably the most important right now is to donate. We need money. We need funds. We really do. We have raised a lot for such a progressive grassroots campaign, but our expenses are rising fast. We have spent thousands of dollars just printing buttons, flyers, rack cards, yard signs. It is getting very expensive, and people are requesting yard signs, requesting buttons, and things at a very rapid rate. And if we keep making these orders, we're not going to be able to keep up with the amount of demand that we have. And we really need the funding to get through. We also have full time, well, I'm not, sorry, not full time, some full time, but we have paid staff because relying on volunteer support for some of these very active roles like field and communications, things like that, it's not a way to succeed. We need people who are dedicated. And so not only are we able to provide jobs for locals, but we can also rest assured that the jobs that we're putting these people in are being handled properly so that the work actually gets done, because we have to move fast, guys. We are just moving at a very rapid rate and we don't have time to wait, right? So we need as many people and as many volunteers, but we also need paid staff to make sure that things are getting done on time. And so that is our expenses are increasing. We're getting into an office and paying rent, so these things are very expensive, and we really need the funding. So if you can't donate, maybe you can hold a fundraiser with your friends, or maybe you can just send your rich aunt an email who always votes Democrat, maybe and just say, hey, I know a progressive candidate I really believe in. Can you please donate to her campaign? So we really need as much financial support as possible. And I think that it will definitely happen after the primaries. We will get a lot more contributions and more attention on the campaign, but we need that money now. We really do. And we're not spending that money like Diana's spending that money. The ungodly amount of money that she spends pouring into ads, and just doing whatever she can to work as little as possible and talk to as few voters as possible. It's gross. And she's not actually doing the work. She's just going to pour money into tricking people into voting for her. And I think that's really gross. So we're actually doing the work. We're putting up the materials, not just to mail, but to actually talk to people and hand to them so that they know about our campaign, the buttons so that people see it everywhere they go, and just making sure that we are putting on events that encourage voter registration and community engagement. That stuff costs money, when we have to order food or pay for a venue rental, things like that. So we can only go as fast as our funding allows. And so the more funding we have, the more presence we can have in our district and the more face-to-face direct contact we can have with voters, which is so important. We're busy. We're very, very busy. I'm doing everything I can to get in front of people and have those tough conversations. So it's very hard work, but I am putting in the work every day. I'm willing to put in the work, but I also want to remind all of you, I want to leave you with this, that I am just one person. I am not your hero. And I appreciate everyone that believes in me and supports me and has hope in me. But you can't just invest it all in me. You also have to participate. You have to believe in yourself. And you have to understand that I cannot save us, that we have to work together to save us. And we can do it, but we have to actually put the work in. And I'm going to put the work in every day. I'm dedicated to this, but I need you to be dedicated to this too. And think about the future you want, the future you know you deserve, and make it happen. Don't tell yourself that it's not possible. Don't tell yourself that we just can't do it because it's just so red, or they've rigged the system, or whatever it is. We don't say that we can't do it. We don't say never. We keep moving forward. We keep resisting, and we do everything in our power every single day to make the change and build the future that we know that we deserve and that we know we can achieve. So I believe in us. I believe in my team. I believe in my supporters. I believe in the people of this district, and I believe in the people of America. I really do. I believe in us. But I just need everyone else to believe in themselves too. And once we do, things from there are actually pretty easy. We can flip this. So I just really want to encourage you to please stay active and engaged. Take care of yourself too. Find a good balance. You know, don't make yourself go crazy with all of the stuff going on in the world, and don't put so much on yourself. And I'm saying this as someone who does this, like, don't put so many expectations on yourself and feel like you have to do everything. If you do just one thing today, if you just liked and shared a post of mine today, and maybe tomorrow you had a tough conversation with a friend who is disengaged, but you might be able to kind of convince to vote. Or if the next day you register someone to vote, you know, the next day you make a post saying why you support us. Those small movements are what all work together to create the big change. And I believe it can be done. We just all have to work together to do it. So please visit the website, votechristyburke.com. That'll give you all the information you need about our campaign, how to help us, how to volunteer. There's a volunteer button, there's a donate button. There are lots of ways you can learn more about the campaign and how you can help us. You can sign up for our Substack to stay up to date on our events and what we're going to be doing. Let's just keep moving forward. Let's keep the hope alive. Let's encourage our neighbors and our friends to get involved and work as hard as we can over the next several months to get through the primaries and then get through the midterms and get this campaign from just a movement in East Tennessee into Congress actually building the future that we all deserve, because it can be done. And I'm going to spend every single day reminding you that it can be done and working toward doing it. So thank you guys so much for joining me tonight. I am going to be holding a lot more lives. This was actually kind of a test run. I haven't always had good internet connection, so I'm interested to see how the connection went and if it, you know, everything came through okay. But we do plan on doing more virtual town halls. We're going to do in-person town halls as well. We'll do more, more of this in the future. So just stay tuned. Make sure you sign up for our Substack and keep an eye on our socials for event announcements. And I think that's it. Just keep a lookout for us for our next meetup. The one we were going to have today got postponed, but we will be announcing that soon, and we'll all meet up. We'll make friendship bracelets. We'll eat pizza, and we will keep talking about how we're going to flip this district blue. So thank you all so much for being here with me tonight and hearing me ramble on for an hour, and I'll talk to you all soon.